What's going on, everybody, man? Welcome back to the area, man. Capital Area Human Services podcast. We are in the building. As you know, or may not know, my name is Ivan Tosa. I am a certified peer support specialist here at Capital Area Human Services. Today, I have a very special guest in the house. Hey, look, before you introduce, look, let me just say, because there's a lot of people around this here at Capital Area Human Services that when I say, look, oh, we got a new podcast coming out, it's gonna be Miss Debra T. There's like, oh yeah, I remember you talking about her. Like, most people know, like, and she don't even know. Like, I bring her name up all the time. Like when I'm doing groups, I quote her a lot of things that she said that she probably don't even know that I remember. I had the privilege of working with Miss Debra and many other great counselors. You know, when I was a CIT, a baby in this thing, still a baby. You know, but and I've learned so much from her and from many others. So I want to introduce you to and welcome Miss Debra Thomas.
Mr. Ivan, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Did you get your check?
What check?
Okay. That I paid you.
Oh, yeah, okay. We weren't supposed to talk about that. She was just playing, y'all. But yeah, man. So Miss Debra, we about to hop straight into this thing. You heard me?
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. So, and I say you heard me, but you know that come from your hometown, right?
Yes, I am from New Orleans.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
if you don't say it that way, then you're not from New Orleans.
That's real. So, Miss Debra, you have been working in addictions for how long?
Most of my life.
Most of your life. And your background, tell us a little bit about it. Like, how did you even get on this journey to where you are right now? Where did this all start?
It started at an early age, and I wasn't aware that it was involving substance use disorder. So I had some challenges and issues as a child. At 10, I was raped. It went public. I begged my mama to move, and she declined because I'd already been to 5 different elementary schools. And continued to junior high schools, to senior high schools, unwed mother at 17, on and on. And recognized alcoholism as being a real part of feeling better. Yeah. I noticed when adults sat down and had a party and they had alcohol, they felt better. But I also recognized they did things that they would normally do if they were not imbibing alcohol. So I learned some things as a young child. With no father figure in the home, my mother having to work, and she was I'm going to tell you something. A lot of people know St. Lucie. She was an awesome, wonderful woman. I'll never take anything away from her story or her journey. She helped me. She really did. And she helped me in a way in which one of my first lessons I learned, if we go in helping an addict decline their requests. So that's a whole another story. Yeah, she probably was, one of the pioneers in Al-Anonism.
Come on.
And she taught me a lot of things in that arena. I continued on. I was very bright. I was born in March, and so I couldn't go to school for kindergarten, and then I couldn't go to school for first grade. And my grandfather he was a seaman, and he would come home, he would read to me. And we would read the paper, and I learned a lot of things, and I was very bright. Moving forward, I ended up in going to high school. I became pregnant, and I dropped out of school. I started working under the table and continued on until I finally encountered my first treatment episode. And we're going to just start at, because if we start at where it really started at, we'd be here all night.
Yes,
It started, I encountered a guy who was military, and he was recovered, and his name was John Spears. I'll never, ever forget him at FA Bear. My first sobriety date was August the 5th, 1984. I then decided I wanted to work in the field. There was a program at Southern University at New Orleans under Thomas Leaf. And one of my instructors was Mike Quinn, and one of my other instructors who became my shero was Dr. Carolyn Carter. And there was a Miss Vincent who was a very wise and well, always get to know the person sitting at that desk when you walk in an office. They will help you. And so I did. My mom had already started school because I mentioned to my mom one night that you look a little tipsy there, Cher. And that helped her to take a look at herself and her habits, and she turned to AA. And then she went to school. She was an LPN. She used to go to school with a lot of the stuff on Ben Casey. Y'all age yourself if you know what I'm talking about.
I'm about to say, look, I'm sitting over here ignorant. I'm like, I don't know that. But
In one of my episodes, my mom and I went to, I saw something in the window and I made her stop the car. And I made her raise the hood up to make sure the purple people were gone. And then it was a treatment facility, and it was for those persons who were on opiates. And there was a treatment, a substitute treatment that was called methadone. And it just so happened, it was some drawing in the window that I was attracted to because I was probably at Mars or Pluto at that time. And she said, come on, I'm gonna bring you, Anyway, long story short, she ended up getting a job there. She dispensed the medication, and that tipped her interest into the substance use disorder field, which it is currently known as. And my mom went to school. She went back to school first, and then I followed her a few years later. I just wanted to learn, and I think my interest was piqued by all of the episodes in my life. And I really wanted to help people to avoid most of the pitfalls that I had.
yeah.
So I ended up, I would love to be able to tell you that was my last sobriety date, but it wasn't. Officially, my last sobriety date was March 19, 2005, and for that I am grateful. I began to work in the field, and I'm very reluctant to say some of the things that happened. I will tell you that I had clients that woke me up one day and told me that the film was over.
Yeah, wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So at any rate, but I can tell you this. I have learned to experience my true truths. I'm like Popeye. I am who I am. Mm-hmm. What you see is what you get.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't ask me a question unless you really want to know the answer that I have. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say that it's always correct, but what I will tell you is I'm going to tell you my truths as I know them.
I think we got an okay picture of Miss Debra, but look, she can really run it. She can go in and that's for the off-camera stuff. But fast forwarding, you are and I don't want to mess up the credentials. You are a LA?
No, I'm a certified addiction counselor.
Certified addiction counselor.
Co-occurring disorders professional.
Co-occurring disorder professional.
And a certified clinical supervisor.
And a certified clinical supervisor. A lot of alphabets, y'all. So, I've had the privilege of seeing you in action. I've seen you do many groups. I've even sat in individuals, somewhat more assessments, and watch you actually. I mean, only way I can put it is like you have a knack, you know what I'm saying, for really reading, knowing people, and really just like without anybody even saying nothing, you know what I'm saying. Where does that come from? How was it developed? Was it just natural? How do you do it?
So I'm glad that you asked that question because I would like to take full credit for everything that I do and not show you my magic wand. Boop. However, the reality has been that I had great training. That's one. There is an intuitiveness about me that I learned from being damaged,
Yes, ma'am.
quote unquote. It heightened my senses and my gut. I will say this, I learned one thing, go with the gut.
Yeah.
But the training in probing was the foundation of most of my learning. And that was to learn how to ask the same question 3 or 4 different ways.
Come on.
And to take a person on a trip in the park and come back to the entrance
Yeah.
to get the correct answer.
Yeah.
Because, I understand that as a person who was hurt and who did things that hurt people do, I was quite savvy at providing information for whomever is the audience, the psychiatrist, the counselor, the alcohol, drug counselor.
Yeah.
Had great stories for them. And I'm going to just say this and leave that alone. I remember telling folks years ago that I went on motorcycle trips yearly to Kansas. And so that was a lie. Yeah. I got tripped up when somebody asked me, was it Kansas or Missouri? Kansas City, Kansas or Kansas City, Missouri?
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I wonder where they came from. But at any rate, yeah, probing is definitely a tool that is invaluable, I believe.
That's good.
In the assessment arena, in just conversations. Also, and I'm going to have to say this quickly because I'll forget it, having a great memory, remembering what was said.
Yeah.
And so that was key. That was key. And it has to be a long-term memory either. And so let's get here first. The greatest tool is documentation. If it's not in writing, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
The ability to tell the story, not just from my perspective, but to always be inclusive of what the client is reporting.
That's good.
Because that will always come in handy when drawing up that contract. You know the one. You know the one, the treatment goals.
Yeah.
Treatment plans.
Yeah.
Yes, those things. If I'm not engaged in that process, all I'm doing is just showing up and reporting information to get a grade.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
And usually what can happen, a person who can provide you with the best answers is considered a great client.
Yeah.
And they're usually full of poop.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, ma'am.
But Ivan, I really want to share with you some of my one of my past prejudices, and that was that only a person who's in recovery could really provide the treatment for an individual who is seeking complete and total abstinence.
Come on.
And that's not true.
That's right. It's good.
That's a lie.
Good stuff.
I currently work with some people. Each person has their own specialty.
Yep.
And I'm so grateful. I'm going to say this. I don't, might hurt some people's feelings. They'll be all right. Sometimes it's great to have a man be with a man.
Yeah.
We had a gift that came to us. Yeah. Yeah, I can't tell you what I called. His name is Mr. Andre.
Oh, Lord.
And he has provided what most men, and the bulk of our clients are men, I did tell you I worked at O'Brien House, the best kept secret in town.
Come on. Come on.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Old drunk. Mr. Pat O'Brien started it. Coming up on our 50-year anniversary.
Yes, ma'am.
We have a leader at the helm, Mr. Tide H.
Mr. Tide.
Mr. Tide, good guy. I have a boss. She was, oh, look, YouTube, look her up. Miss Emily George Tilley.
What up, Emily?
Yeah, Miss Emily. I can't say all her alphabets. I need a can of alphabet soup.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, we have Miss Latricia Allen. And one of the things about everybody that comes, I just ran into Miss Rosalind, who used to work with us, and she's now at Capital Area.
Yeah. We family. We family.
Yeah, so they're always in pursuit of the next level of education and care to give. Yeah. We have a Miss Kershika. I got that out, George. And she's great. You know, she provides that like art therapy. But the favorite group is music therapy.
Come on. That's
Good.
Good.
My music therapy would be Adeline.
Oh, come on. Enjoy your free concert. Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
There was a prejudice. There was a lady named Tony Spears, and she cut a deal with DePaul Hospital in New Orleans to open up a group, and it was because she recognized that black people in New Orleans were not infiltrating the mainstream of AA. And so on Friday nights, it's Friday night, got paid, it was the Black Support Group.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something. She was a person that had one of these, just great minds. It wasn't because we could do black AA. She wanted us to infiltrate AA. The foundations, the principles, the steps. Yes. Yeah. And the meetings. Of course, out of that came some black meetings. Imagine that. Ebony Group.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah.
But what happened is there was another lady, and I apologize. I could see her face just as good. I'm so sorry. Ada Nelson, yeah. And it lasted as long as we needed it. When the original plan had been achieved, it was no longer needed.
Yeah.
We everywhere. So that was one thing, and I hope that I have not failed to mention we have a DC staff that is a great team as well, and I hope I've mentioned all of our counselors, but mainly I understand that the whole 12 core functions come into play to create the end result.
Yeah.
The end result.
Let me say this, and then I want to pivot somewhere else. But we have such a connection, it seems like, with O'Brien House and Capital Area, like a lot from staff to clients, I'm pretty sure. And because Kim Franklin also was working here at Capital Area, she recently, I think within the past this year, had transitioned to another program. But and also, from a client standpoint, most of our, not most, but a good portion of our clients coming from Capital Area Recovery Program, which is CARP, our 28-day all-males inpatient facility. They transitioned to O'Brien House. Yes. And so, we are a family. We all do work together. There's no competition, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we all have great clinicians. We may provide some of the same services, some of us different, but we refer to each other in a lot of different ways, And so, we are grateful for what O'Brien House does. And so one thing that I do want to kind of get your take on is because you've seen so much evolution, within these realms. And recently, and I'll say recently, but within the past, few years, let's just say a little under 10 years, we've been seeing this opioid.
Oh, yes.
And it's not, I mean, and look, and there's so many different places we can go with it. I mean, it's not a new thing, but it has hit, certain communities and brought more attention to, opioid use. And so From your end, especially here locally, what have you been seeing? Because, from what I'm hearing, that the overdoses have been on the rise again. And you see clients and see people coming in every day who may be dealing with opioid addiction from, whether it's heroin, fentanyl, from the pills, whatever it may be. What are you seeing for some of the trends? How are you seeing people recovering? What do you see that helps people best? Just give us the Debra T take on that.
So, and I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to slap my own self. I failed to mention that I'm also the outpatient services coordinator, and we have a person that we were gifted in receiving, Miss Carla. She is our.
No one forgot.
Yes. She is our. She is our IOP counselor. I'm gonna tell you something. She's backbone. She's backbone. Yeah. We have an intake person, and Lord, I want Miss Sharifa. I've tried to encourage her to get her baby a dog. Want that to happen. But great team, and Miss Tamisha is now our client case manager. She does a lot of the work, the research, helping them to get to dentist appointments, eye appointments. Yeah. I don't know about anybody else, but I didn't take care of myself when I was not straight. But I'm going to, in terms of the opiate epidemic, I've seen it. I'm gonna say this first. They're not great candidates for outpatient. I'm going to say that I would recommend inpatient detox and inpatient treatment, and the more than likely some long-term choices for continued success in abstinence. Understand what I'm saying. It might not be the only way, but I believe that that's one avenue. And I don't have a problem with anyone contacting me and to hopefully enlighten me on what may be another way. As a matter of fact, I hope that does happen. It's real unfortunate that a lot of it started with people who had legitimate pain. Yeah. And then because sometimes the trends that run substance use disorder come from those persons who have medications that will help. Yeah. And those persons who prescribe them. Okay? So that's one of the problems. There's a great phenomenon going on out there now, and it's called meth, amphetamine. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. So unfortunately, that's witnessed when people begin to smile. Yeah. For the lack of. I understand. Yes. So, no, I don't know everything, but I do know this. I do understand that there is a component to this that must be present. That's called compassion. Yeah, that's good. That's good. But I'm going to tell you this. There's another area that most people need to educate. I had to educate myself and come to the conclusion I could love someone to death as their clinician, as their family member. Yes, ma'am. Yep. So I believe, and I've seen this. Like, I see something greater in that person that maybe you don't see. Then help me see. Yeah. But the reality of it is, I must remain in a place that I recognize that I am helping that person and not hurting that person. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So, Ms. Debra, on a lighter note, you are in recovery yourself, and so what are some things that you do? Like one of the things that we talk about a lot, especially as a peer support specialist, is self-care. It's a big part of our recovery. And just maintaining ourselves, taking care of, like you said, when we were out there, even from a physical aspect, from many different aspects, we just didn't take care of ourselves. What are some things that you do for yourself? How do you take care of Debra T
today? What are some things that you do to keep Debra T in a great place?
You know what, Ivan? I would love to report to you that I'm doing all these wonderful things to take care of myself. I get up in the morning and I run 5 miles. I go to the gym and I use the weights. I see my clinician, my therapist, once, twice. You know, I do all of these things. But the reality is, I'm at the foundation because this year the pandemic has been hard on everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
Hard on everybody. And my foundation, this is mine. I'm in a recovered family.
Yeah.
I have a sponsor who has a sponsor who has a sponsor. I have a home group of which I've held every position in that home group. They so glad I ain't holding no positions right now.
Yeah.
I have ladies that I work with.
Yeah. That's good.
And I definitely recognize that I cannot sponsor clients.
Come on.
I can't do it. And they will try to act like till I hit them with the 1-2 and the undercut.
There you go. Ethics.
I don't want you to be my sponsor. Right. Yeah. And so each facility has its own way that they address that. Yeah. We have a 2-year limit. I worked on, I can't remember this lady's name, but she said, once a client, always a client. Yeah. Next. She don't do that.
Understood. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like to dance.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's how, Live After 5 was one of my arenas, to get out there and sweat it out, learn a new line dance. Yep. And it was through Live After 5 that I learned that there's another area of which we can teach, and that's called refusal skills. Yeah, because sometimes I didn't know how to decline. Yeah, so I learned that sometimes for me, in my self-care, it's easier. Like some people say, well, I don't mind telling them I'm in recovery. Okay, but here's the lick. I'm just leaving the dance area, and the person says, oh, come over and meet my family and have a drink. Yeah. And I say, oh, no, I'm on medication. Yeah. Now, some folks might say, I don't think you should do that. I think you should tell them. Well, I didn't have an hour and a half to be engaged in. No. One drink will take me all the way back. Okay? Yeah. So just an idea, to throw out there. But my self-care is my recovered family. That's good. My recovery family. I reach out to them. I talk on the phone. And my home group is essential. And going to other meetings as well. So I encourage that. Unfortunately, in treatment facilities, it's real hard to, how shall we say, produce sponsors. So I think the avenue would be open meetings, and with the pandemic, it's been kind of hard on that. So we have to become creative. Yeah,
very creative.
And I'm gonna say this.
Go ahead.
This is my thing: pastor, sponsor, mentor. Yeah. Or all three. Do what you have to do.
Yeah. Amen.
And especially clinicians. Amen. Have an avenue, a way out.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, I tell people all the time, I don't care what it is. I mean, look, as long as it keeps you looking at you, and if it works for you, look, work it. Please do. And I'm glad you shared about your self-care because, self-care looks different for everybody. Exactly. And because like you said, it may not be running. It may not be this. It may not. But you have, something that works for you that keeps you in a place of being constantly replenished or refreshed. And I love how you said not implemented, but talked about sponsoring other people or sponsoring other women because I believe, a big part of recovery, is ultimately to get out of self, Exactly. Essentially, and that's my belief is like, okay, these steps were designed to remove me from being self-centered to get me to being God-centered. And when I'm God-centered, my heart is, what do I do for the next person? How do I help the next addict, next alcoholic, next human being, period,
And
so-
also to be aware,
Yeah.
I have to be completely aware of my language. So my language is changing from your boyfriend, girlfriend to significant other, or your partner. I have to definitely change with the times
Yeah.
and be more sensitive
Yeah.
to other people
Yeah. Yeah.
and their beliefs and what they choose.
That's good. That's what makes a great counselor. You know what?
Thank you.
Yeah. Because I mean, I remember a lot of this from when I was becoming an RAC. You know, sitting in class and whatnot, because everything was also about dealing with people of different communities. You know what I'm saying? From a social standpoint, race, gender,
Absolutely.
sexual orientation, whatever it may be. Like, you have to be able to adapt, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Respect people, you know what I'm saying? And still be able to help everybody, you know what I'm saying? It's like, and not bring my personal convictions and views within it. Like, what I believe doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm here to help you with this one thing, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
This other stuff, that's none of my business, you know? So, but anyways, we can keep talking until the sun come up and down. And so I think we about to land this plane, unfortunately, because as y'all know, our episodes are like 30 minutes, you know, because like we have so much we can talk about. But all in all, we want to thank you for stepping into the area, Miss Debra T. Look,
Thank you.
Y'all got to know Miss Debra T. One thing that I always repeat from her, and I use this everywhere. I just feel like saying this. It may be irrelevant right now, but I just feel like saying it. Don't step into the lion's den with pork chop drawers on. Look,
And I ain't mad at you.
when she said that, like, I've been using that for years. Like, I love to say that because I'm like, I don't know, it hit different. I was like, oh man, that's so funny, but at the same time, it's like, that's what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? When you put yourself back out there in these situations, whatever, you try to get around your partners and people, like, you are in the lion's den with pork chop jaws on. Like, you are outnumbered, you're going to get your tail ate up. Like,
And it's not the lions and the tigers, it's the gnats and the mosquitoes.
come on.
And I'm going to give you this one I got in Livingston Parish just a couple of days ago, a couple of days ago. This judge, he's the drug court judge. I can't remember his name, but I sat there for 2.5 hours before any of the persons that I was sitting there for came up. He said a lot of things, but he said this one thing, and I will take this to my grave. He said if most people treated their addiction like they did their teeth, they'd be in a much better place. And at first I was like, what the heck? But the reality is, I brush my teeth at night.
Yep.
I soak my teeth at night. And I brush my teeth in the morning and brush the ones that were soaking. Floss. I floss my teeth sometimes during the day after a meal or whatever. And I carry a toothbrush. I have a toothbrush at work.
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing.
Wow.
And so simplistic.
Yeah, that's good.
It doesn't have to be revolutionary.
Yeah.
It could just be, by the way.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, Ms. Debra, look, we want to thank you once again
Ivan.
for stepping into the area. This has been a great podcast episode. Look, y'all hit us up in the comments, DM us, hit us up in the inbox, let us know if you have any questions or if you need to reach out to Ms. Debra T. Look, dude, I know you gave me your card, but is there any kind of contact information that you can give out?
Yes, I can. I can give out the information. O'Brien House is 225-344-6345. We have great people at the desk. Y'all, and another thing, we got a secret rep, and her name is Crystal Phelps. Yeah. 4 more of her, and we could run the world.
Come on. Well, that's real, man. But look, y'all already know what to do, man. Look, step on back into the area for our next episode. I'm not sure who we're going to have, but y'all already know it's going to be dope. Whatever it is, it's going to be real, it's going to be relevant, and it's going to be righteous. Shout out to D1. Anyways, man, look, once again, thank y'all. Thank you, Miss Debra T. And until next time, be safe, y'all.
And be straight.
Be straight. Stay sober.